Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. So today's topic is mindset, and the title is Control Your Mindset to Control Your Results. So I was watching a movie recently with a friend, and in one of the scenes, there had been a couple opportunities for the main character to kind of control their outcome and kind of decide their fate, so to speak. And every time an opportunity came up, they were very negative and kind of shot everything down, were kind of bringing out all the things that could go wrong. And it was frustrating the hell out of me, even though it was a movie, because I hate those mindsets. So I said, if you're negative towards every opportunity, how would you expect a positive outcome? And a friend just kind of laughed about how true that statement was of much more than just the movie. So again, the statement was, if you're negative towards every opportunity, how do you expect a positive outcome? So this made me think of examples of dieting. If people expect a diet to be miserable, then when you go into it, of course it's going to be miserable. Because you were looking for miserable, you will find miserable when you do a diet. And if that's all you're focusing on, then that's all you're going to get. So why is dieting quote unquote miserable automatically? I know that sounds really negative, but it's a change of current habits. So anytime we have to change our current habits, we tend to find that uncomfortable, displeasurable. So we tend not to want to do it because we have our routine, we have our habits, we're comfortable in it, even if we're unhappy. So people can be comfortable while being unhappy. That happens all the time. That's why people don't make changes, because they're more afraid of the change than they are of staying unhappy, which is ridiculous. But that tends to be something of human nature. So, if you go into any moment or any kind of goal or any situation that you have to change your normal, you will be uncomfortable. And if you expect negativity within that uncomfortableness, that's what you'll find. So, if you expect miserable, you will be miserable. And if your expectations are kind of incorrect, in the sense of you going into something and thinking it'll be so easy when it's not an easy thing, then as soon as you find the first sign of challenge, you'll often quit. So often our mindset, if we go into it negatively, we experience negative. If we go into it kind of without enough information and kind of too naive, we get our butts handed to us when things are more challenging than we expected. So there are many times where our mindset being incorrect will contribute to us being unsuccessful. Whereas if you go into something expecting it to be hard work, and then when the hard work comes, you'll be ready for it, and you tend to do a lot better because you'll have had yourself prepared for those challenges. So you can see, it's pretty common sense, but often we don't break it down and really think through these type of moments or these types of things in this way, is that our mindset absolutely contributes to the results that we experience. So I had some funny examples here I'll share with you. So when I was younger, I was in Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. And I went on a hike. It was a 70-mile hike that we did in 5 days. And it was way longer than 70 miles because we had to hike off the trail to different campsites. So who knows how long it ended up actually being, probably 90-some miles. But I remember I went into it expecting it to be fun. And as you can imagine by the way I've started this podcast, it turned out to be not fun. So I wanted to do it because my friends were doing it. I didn't really give a crap about hiking, and it's nice to see pretty things, but more so I just enjoy company. So we went on the hike. We had to get up at 6 in the morning because we were with old people who were the leaders, and apparently they just had to get up at 6 in the morning from sleeping on the ground anyhow. So they made us get up. And I'm now starting to learn that a little bit as I get older, that sleeping on the ground does wake you up a lot faster and you don't feel like sleeping in. So they were getting up at 6 in the morning, probably earlier than that. They got us up at 6 in the morning. We cooked food, we went on a hike, we ate lunch, went on a hike, and then we got to wherever we were going by usually 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But then, there was no activities planned. We didn't do anything. So the leaders, I don't really know what they were doing at that time because I wasn't paying attention, but there was nothing planned. There was no activity. There was nothing to do. So we got to this place at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Since we had nothing to do and we're typical teenage boys, we just lit things on fire and played cards. So, little pyromaniacs. But that's essentially, we did that from 3 or 4 till about like probably 10 or 11 when they forced us to go to bed and shut up. But it was boring as hell. There was absolutely nothing to do. I didn't understand why the hell we had to get up at 6 in the morning just to hike somewhere and then be bored for 6 hours before we went to bed. I'm like, why the hell can't we just sleep in till like noon and then hike? So, and I understand all the things about you never know what's going to happen along the way and blah, blah, blah. We were bored to death and I didn't like it, so I wanted things to be different. So that was something where I went into the kind of event with expectations based on nothing. So I didn't know that there were planned or not planned activities. I didn't know what was going on. I just heard, oh, we're going to hike with some friends. Okay, cool, I'm going to go. So I went into it with expectations of fun, and it turned out that it wasn't quite that way. So I had another moment way later in life. I was in college, and I was running on the track, and I hate running, by the way. I'm just not built for it, or at least that's my bullshit excuse. So I hate running. I was running on the track, and I was kind of getting mad at myself for being lazy and kind of having a negative mindset. So as I was running, I was kind of towards the end of my workout anyhow, like as far as I wanted to run. I think I was at a mile or something like that. And this guy stepped onto the track and started running about like 10, maybe 15 feet in front of me. And I was like, okay, there's a challenge for you, lazy piece of crap, talking to myself. You think you're all tough, but you've been acting like a baby. So let's just run till this guy stops running. So as the guy kept running and running and running, I tried to stay within 10 to 15 feet behind him the whole time. Well, this son of a gun ran freaking forever. I forget how long exactly it was, but it was like 2 miles or something like that. So from a guy, me, who never runs 1 mile, I ended up running like 3 miles trying to chase after this dude. And I actually survived it, and I went fine. I did not feel good, but I survived it. Because I went into it expecting it to be a challenge, and I wanted the challenge because I wanted to kind of force myself to get stronger mentally. So every lap he kept running, oh, you bet I was like, dude, just get off the track. Like, come on, man. So here I was, like this poor stranger, like stalking him from behind him and like praying he would twist his ankle or something. But I went into it expecting it to be hard work, and it was. But since I was ready for it mentally, when the hard work came, I crushed it and went right through it. So, in these scenarios, one seems like a failure, the hike, and one seems like a success, the run. But both were actually failures. Why? And in my opinion, I think they're both failures because I allowed the outcome to be controlled by someone else. So in the hiking, I didn't do my due diligence and learn what would be going on. I didn't change my mindset during the process to adjust to what was being presented to me. I went in with a mindset, stayed with a fixed mindset, and it didn't turn out the way I expected. Therefore, I kind of like hated it. It wasn't fun, and it was a bad experience. The running after the guy. By me deciding that I would run until he ran, not run until my best, run until he ran. I gave him the control. If he would have ran another mile, maybe another 2 miles, maybe he was on the freaking cross-country team. I didn't know. And I would have felt like a failure, although that day I'd ended up running 3 miles compared to something like my normal of never running. So running 3 miles, with especially the last 2 of it being paced by somebody who was fresh, I have no clue if they were just, jogging lazily or what their situation was. But it was by luck, more so than anything else, that it ended up being quote unquote successful in the sense that I got to run until he was done running. But I had given him the control of that. So just like with the hike, I didn't learn enough information. I kind of went in with a fixed mindset, and it turned out different than I expected, and therefore it was a failure. With the running after the guy, I went into it with a fixed mindset, to where if he would have done another lap or 2, maybe I would have quit and felt like a failure, and that would have bothered me. I would have never seen the success in the moment of the fact that I ran longer than I ever had run, like kind of recently around that time. So, are you controlling your mindset with the things that you do so you can better control your outcome? Are you learning what you can learn ahead of time? And are you open to changing your mindset as the process goes on? So, recently, I competed in a powerlifting meet back in, I think it was October-ish. So, I had previously torn some muscles the year before in my legs. I tore a muscle in my left leg and tore two muscles in my right leg. So the right leg ones are the ones that are kind of ticking me off and taking the most time to fix. It's my adductor on my right leg and my inner hamstring. So basically kind of like the inside bottom support of your thigh when you're squatting is not there. So I'm having to learn how to fix that and address it. Now I had did that a year before the meet in October. So when I went into the meet in October, I really had no expectations of the squat whatsoever, because that was the lift most irritated by my injuries. I just wanted to have a successful squat and not tear anything. So I ended up squatting 407, which is not very good for me, by the way. But hey, it was successful. I didn't have any injuries, so that was good. I then went and benched 407, which is sad that I benched my squat, but it was a small little meet PR. It was a little like 2.5 kilogram meet PR. And then I went and deadlifted 660, which was a PR for like a meet. Not my best ever. I'd deadlifted 700 before, but with a torn like hamstring and adductor and some other odds and ends, I was happy with 660. So I went into that meet where my goal was to see from the year before, I had spent a whole year rehabbing and trying to address the injuries. I wanted to see if what I had been doing in my rehab was allowing me to feel stronger, and where might I yet feel weaknesses that I need to address. So I didn't really go in wanting specific numbers. I went in wanting specific feelings, specific feedback. I wanted to know if what I had been doing had been working and what yet I need to do. So that was a good mindset, because although I did not hit a total that was anything near my best, I walked away without any injuries, and I walked away with an improved sense on what I should do in my training to continue to improve. So it was a very large success because I defined what success was going to be for me. Success was not based on a meet PR, like brand new numbers that I've ever lifted ever before. It was based on the feedback that I wanted from my training. So I went in with an educated, well-controlled mindset, and I came out of it with success, based on what I had defined success to be. Here's a contrast. So I took a client recently to a competition, and we're going for the national record of deadlift in his weight class. Now, he is absolutely right there strength-wise, so we just ended up having, on that day, not the best of days. So we got out of position on our second deadlift. He fought like hell and got it to lock out, which didn't count, although the lockout seemed okay. But the judge's call is always the judge's call. So on his third attempt, since we struggled with the second, which was I believe a state record, and his opener I think was a state record actually. The second attempt, he fought it to the top, but didn't get it due to some technical aspect or whatever. So the third one, instead of jumping to the world record, we just decided to do the second one again, since it was already a struggle and the world record didn't seem like it was there that day. So he fought for it, and I don't remember if he got it or not. But what we ended up having to do was, that day we went with the mindset of get that top deadlift for the national record. And he had the strength for it. We've showed it in our training. It just didn't happen on that day. And there's a whole bunch of reasons, and you never really know what all the variables are, but that's why there's competition days and competition PRs versus gym PRs. So as we went through the day, we had to change what our definition of success was going to be. If we weren't going to meet that record, if we weren't going to beat it, what could we learn from the day to take into our training, next phase of training, so that way we could come back and get that national record at the next meet? So we had to go into it with one mindset of success, like one definition, but then be open to the fact of changing that definition for what was going on based on what was happening around us and what happened to his body and to his lifts. So we changed it to looking at the day as a success because we were able to analyze what happened in all three lifts to where he could make small improvements to improve the next meet. So we learned something from that day that will allow us to be stronger. So maybe that day the original definition of success was not met, but there was still a positive outcome for the day because we were willing to change our mindset and redefine success for us. So, in the first example, I went to the powerlifting meet and got everything I wanted. In the second example, the client went to the powerlifting meet. We missed his record, but both moments or both occasions were successful. Because the first one, the desired definition of success was met. And in the second one, the original definition of success was not, but we redefined it and we found a successful aspect to the day. So what is the mindset that you're starting with towards your goals? And are you open to changing that mindset if needed while you're working towards your goals? So that's something we want to look at. So we said that at the top of this, that the quote that we had from the movie was, if you're negative towards every opportunity, how do you expect a positive outcome? Well, if you control your mindset to not have happy, positive outcome, kind of goals without any data to support that. Don't do that. That was like me going on that hike thinking it was going to be totally fun when I had looked nothing into what was actually going to happen. I went into it with absolutely uneducated definition of success. So we're not saying do that. We're not saying be super positive when you don't know what the hell you're talking about. If something is going to be challenging, go into it with a mindset knowing it's going to be challenging. Don't try to blind yourself from that, because the second it is challenging, your little fake reality will get crushed and you'll quit. So if something is going to be miserable, expect that misery might come. However, you are going to be stronger than that, and you will outwork it. So, one of the goals I've done in the past to help me kind of lose weight and increase discipline was I set a goal once for a 10-month diet, and I ended up losing 70 pounds in 10 months, and part of that diet involved 6 a.m. cardio every single day. If I wasn't able to do it at 6 a.m. based on traveling or whatever, vacations or whatever happened, I had to do it before 6 a.m. I was not allowed to do it after. So I'd have to get up at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, but I had to do the cardio before 6 a.m. or at 6 a.m. And for 10 months, I did that every single day. Every single day. The cardio was sometimes walking around in hallways in a hotel because I was traveling one time during those 10 months. But I did laps in the hotel, up and down the stairs, did laps around, looked like a crazy person at like 5 in the morning. But I didn't give a shit. I had my goal. So I went into that expecting that doing cardio every day at 6 a.m. for 10 months is absolutely going to suck. That'll absolutely be miserable. So I'd be an idiot not to expect that to be miserable. I knew it was going to be miserable, and that's actually why I chose to do it. I chose to do it because it was going to challenge my lazy self and force me to become a stronger person mentally. So I didn't go into a challenge hoping to stay the same, hoping to avoid hard work. I went into the challenge knowing it was going to be hard work and hoping that it would change me. So when you go into a diet, are you hoping that you don't have to do anything hard to earn the results? Are you hoping that you get to keep the same lazy style of eating, same lazy style of discipline towards your nutrition? Or are you wanting the challenge? Are you wanting the change? Are you wanting to become better towards your nutritional health? When you start exercising, Are you wanting the challenge, or are you just wanting to stay lazy and somehow lose fat and build muscle, but not have to work that hard to earn it? If we want to put in the same, but we want something different as an outcome, that will not work. You're bringing in the wrong mindset. You have to bring in the mindset of being willing to change to create change. And you have to go into situations defining your own level of success. So, what is success going to be for you? Don't let others control it like I did during that hike or during that run. Define success for you. If you're going into something like a competition, what will success look like for you? It may not be all PRs. You may not win the competition. But can you be successful by improving your technique? Can you be successful by just improving your performance? Maybe by having a better mindset during the day? Maybe the last time you were highly anxious and you kind of didn't enjoy the process. So this time you want to go into it and try to enjoy the moment, enjoy the fun of the challenge of the day. So what will success be for you? Don't let others define that. Define it for yourself. Okay? So, you can't always control what happens around you, but you can always control what happens within you. So focus on that. Focus on you, your mindset, your definition of success, your expectations. Focus on you. Do not let your success be controlled by others. Do not let your expectations be kind of debunked or crushed or changed or modified by others. If you expect something to be one way and it turns out to be different, modify with it, toughen up, get tougher. Make the changes you need mentally to adapt to what's coming to your way. Again, you can't control those things around you, but you can control whether you're willing to work hard enough. So when something comes at you that is a challenge, decide yourself, how important is it that this challenge gets met? Is this something that's a high priority for me? This is a big change in my life. It'll really improve things for me. It'll make me healthier. It'll make me happier. I need to do this. Then toughen yourself up. Get support if you need it. Get an accountability partner. Read some information. Listen to information. Educate yourself. Knowledge is power. Support is power. If you are feeling challenged and ready to break, make sure you have as much power behind you as possible. Get as much of a support system as you can. Educate yourself as much as you possibly can on the process. Fight against it rather than just sitting there letting it fight you. Okay? So, hopefully there was something in this podcast that can get your mindset in a good place, make you better prepared for challenges coming your way, maybe help you kind of fight back against the challenges you're facing right now. If there's anything you need to help support-wise or knowledge-wise, reach out to us. Our email is brutalironGym@gmail.com. We're always going to be happy to help. So if you need anything at all, reach out. We're here. Okay? So remember, you can't always control what happens around you, but you can control what happens within you. So take that responsibility, take that initiative, take that action to start controlling what's within you today. Cool. If you like the podcast, please share it with family and friends. The more people we help, the happier the world will be. Also, if you like this information, you can find more from us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Brutal Iron Gym. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. The podcast is for you, so we want to know what you want to learn about. You can tell us at our email at brutalironGym@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful. And thank you for listening. And thank you for watching.